It is time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, you see Patrick Brackett with me, Charles Taylor, and Patrick, loaded show as we talked about earlier today. So, let's get on it. Now, we're going to start with a kind of a garbage topic here, kind of a dark topic. Alabama basketball. So, Alabama right now, falling out of control. Can't remember the last time Alabama was this good. I do think they made it was either the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 in 2021. But even before then, Alabama, we know Alabama was more known for their football than anything else. But here they are in basketball. I think they're ranked number 2 behind Houston in the overall rankings right now. Here's the thing, though. One of their players, Darius Miles, he's not with the team anymore because, well, he was charged for capital murder. A young woman was murdered by, I guess, him and an accomplice of his. Let me make sure I got the names right. I know the player's name was Darius Miles. The woman's name is Jonay Harris, 23. And Brandon Miller, who is like one of the best players. He's been one of the best players. Oh, Dominic is back. What? Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
He knows who the man is.
You were right. Good to see you, Dominic. Hope everything is all right. And we're just glad. We're glad to have you back.
Glad to have you back, man.
But Brandon Miller, one of the best players in the nation, was found out to be pretty much an accomplice. Like, he brought the murder weapon that was used to Darius Miles and the guy who was in there, or the other guy that was with Miles. So all this came out last week. The coach, Nate Oates, didn't handle it well. It's been a complete and utter public relations disaster because he basically said, well, Miller's in the wrong place, wrong time. They're still playing him and they're still winning these games with Miller leading the way. I guess in the game against Arkansas on Saturday, at the pregame warm-ups or the pregame introductions, they were doing pat downs like there's a weapon on there, and it's just like, oh my gosh, y'all, this is bad. Like, you can't do this. You can't be rubbing stuff like this in people's faces. I mean, you're an accomplice to a murder pretty much right now, and you're making light of it. So I guess the question for you, Patrick, is Alabama right to let him keep playing? Now, let me stress, Miller has not been charged with anything. He hasn't been, arrested for anything like that. But do you think Alabama, well, number one, was this a complete public relations disaster from the head coach? And do you think they should continue to let Miller play going forward?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, the public relations behind this whole situation was absolutely horrendous. I mean, just the things that I was watching on it was just, crazy with what Oates was doing and how he was handling everything. And not on top of that, even how Alabama was handling it. And then even go further, how the NCAA is handling it. I mean, it's just gotten, it's really bad from the top to the bottom, right? And bottom being Alabama because they're just a team inside. But
we'll get on the NCAA later. In the NCAA,
we always got something about the NCAA.
But yeah, we'll get on them later for sure. But
this is the thing. As much in this country as I would like to say you're innocent until proven guilty, I will always say this country always shows that you are guilty until proven innocent. But if we're going to go by this whole innocent until proven guilty, and I am going to throw the air quotes up because I do think this country is out of line with a lot of things that we have stemmed from in our past, and we've kind of just blurred the lines in our country, but I'm not going to get into that. Yes, I think he could play. I think he should play because he's not guilty as of right now. And if that's the case, then the whole innocent until proven guilty, unfortunately I say unfortunately, but fortunately and unfortunately to whoever that may concern in your respected side of how you're taking it on, he is innocent right now. So yeah, let him play. I mean, he's an accomplice right now, but that doesn't mean, or he
hasn't been charged. Like you said, he hadn't been charged.
He is ruled as an accomplice, but he hasn't been charged. So as long as that is the case, let him play. Now, how he's playing at the level he's playing with the crap that's on his mind, that's beyond me. I don't know how he's doing it because he's still playing really well, and he's got all this stuff to deal with on the off time. But no, I say let the man play. If he can play, let him play, because in this country, they say you're innocent until proven guilty. I believe vice versa, but hey, he hasn't been charged, so let him play.
So what I think is, so you bring up a point about how he's playing. Right now, he's one of the best players in the nation right now. Mm-hmm. I do believe if this was another player, maybe a bench guy or someone who's at the end of the bench, maybe the 11th or 12th man off there, I think Alabama would have suspended him. I think they would have straight up just kicked him off the team, everything. I really believe that. But because
I really believe anybody would have done it.
Yeah.
But this affects your ranking, so let him play.
So I think, according to the school, though, yes, with the laws, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that. But with the school and how they would handle things, I think they would have been quick to remove the person off the team. They probably would not have hesitated to remove him off the team. But because it is Brandon Miller and because it is one of the best players in the nation, I think that helps his status in terms of playing. Now, on top of that, I think if anything, maybe Alabama could have, not suspend them. I'm not saying suspend them. Maybe sit them down just for a little bit, maybe for a few days, just to see what comes up from the investigation. And then if nothing comes up, if nothing is going on, then I know you're not Patrick Kane, Patrick. No. You know who we talking about, right?
No.
Okay, so Patrick Kane plays for the he just got traded
to the
Rangers today. But yeah, he used to play for the Chicago Blackhawks for all this year.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay. I was thinking I'm on the murder case, and I was like,
right, yeah, it definitely random. But
I know who Patrick Kane is. Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think if anything, maybe they could have sat him down for a few games just to see if anything materialized, and then if nothing did, if everything was cleared up and stuff, then hey, you bring him back. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. He hasn't been charged with anything, so I can see the school, even though this was a complete and utter PR disaster, but I can see the school saying, well, he hadn't been charged with anything. We let the legal system kind of handle it. Then we're going to continue to play him. And on top of that, with Alabama literally having a chance to win a national championship, I don't think they were going to be too quick to remove him off of there. And we have to understand, and I think everybody else who's watching, Patrick, should understand, if they don't already, there's big business, there's big money in sports, wherever it is. You know what's going on with college sports, especially in the age of NIL and transfer portal. There is a lot of money that comes with winning. Mm-hmm. And the more you win, the further you get to the in March Madness to the Final Four, the more money you're gonna get.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, your question was, do you think he could play? Yes, but I also have to acknowledge your point, with him being this high in the depth chart, do I think he should be playing? Yes. Do I agree with what you're saying as far as him being as high on the depth chart and wanting to keep that? Absolutely. I do feel that they're not making this decision based on his based on what their findings are. I do think they're making this decision based on money. Like you said, this is big business. And anything that is a business, you're wanting to protect your bottom line. He does this. He does this for Alabama. He does this for NCAA. He does this for the SEC. And the fact that Alabama is ranked second and the next SEC team is Tennessee, ranked at 12th. Let's look at it from a different standpoint. If Alabama wasn't ranked, would he be playing? That's another question.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're highly ranked, the fact that he is playing this well, the fact that there's big money in this tournament, and when we're talking about big money, we're talking like, I think doesn't the winner of March Madness take home like $10 million? It's something crazy.
Yeah,
I would like to look that up and confirm that, but I mean, the winner takes home a grip of money. And on top of that, Alabama is fighting for that number one spot over Houston, because doesn't the number one get to pick the bracket that they play in? That's the only one that gets to pick it.
Well, the overall number one seed, if they are the overall number one seed, then they'll go to the region that they're in. So like in Alabama's case, it would be the South.
And they would be hosting most of it because it's being played in Birmingham, out of all places, right? So we get where we get understand. We all are under the understanding of why this man is getting to play. But overall decision, the question you asked was, do I think he should play? I say absolutely. But I would have also said this about the 12th man on the bench or the 11th man on the bench. Yes, let him play. Because at this point in the whole investigation, he hasn't been charged. I hate the fact that they do take status, and because you're right, because if this kid was 11th on the bench, he would have been cut. He would have been cut before we even found out that the murder happened. He would have been cut. Period. But here we are.
Well, Patrick, we're gonna leave that one here. We'll follow it as it goes along, see what comes up with it, especially with March Madness starting in less than a week and a half. Well, Selection Sunday being in less than a couple of weeks.
Selection Sunday is less than a week, and they start March Madness on the 14th. So right at 2 weeks away.
All right, man. So let's get on to Byron Jones. So Byron Jones is the cornerback for the Miami Dolphins. He played for the Dallas Cowboys before. Byron Jones left a tweet over the weekend, and basically what he was saying is, I can't run or jump anymore. Dominic, we'll get to NBA in a little bit. Be patient. You can't come on here making demands and you haven't been on here, Dominic. Come on now.
we do have two NBA topics. So.
Yes.
And one of them is LeBron James. Just so you know. And now you know I don't like him. So
we'll get there, Dominic. We promise. But before we get there, we're gonna talk about Byron Jones. And again, he's the cornerback for the Miami Dolphins right now, and he played for the Dallas Cowboys before. Your favorite team, if I remember right, Dominic. Pretty sure. But he left a tweet talking about how he can't run or jump anymore. He's been in the league for 8 years, I think. Let me make sure I have that right. Yes, he has been in the league for 8 years. Was selected in the first round in the 2015 in NFL draft. But he said he can't run or jump anymore. And he told everybody who was listening to this tweet, hey, don't take any of the painkillers. Don't take any of the stuff that they give you. Don't do nothing. So I don't think this is the first player who has came out and has been against the NFL. Look, we know the NFL kind of crooked, or very crooked in a lot of ways. And when it comes to treating injuries. I think this is where I'm going to go with this, Patrick, and I know you'll follow me with it. Most of these players would rather take whatever marijuana, whatever medical marijuana there is, besides those painkillers, because number one, marijuana is natural. Number one. Number two, it's just good to take the pain away, and it's not really addictive like these painkillers can be. And so if you're listening to this tweet from Byron Jones, I couldn't help to think a lot of players probably have his thoughts with it. And I'm pretty sure with him not being able to play, you know how it gets sometimes. If you take these painkillers, or if you're getting pain injection shots or whatnot, you get this stuff just to numb the pain, to take the pain away temporarily until it gets to the point where you cannot bear it anymore. And you either mess your limb up to where you have a catastrophic injury that's keeping you out for a year, or you're getting addicted to these painkillers and God forbid something else happens to where you're harming your life. So the tweet to me was alarming, but maybe unfortunately it shouldn't be alarming, because I think he's far from the only player who feels the way he does.
Okay, agreed. But I'm not alarmed. I'm not alarmed because over the course of the past, say, 3 years, right? These NBA, NFL, MLB, they're using their platform to be more vocal, all right? And crazy enough, many people in the world has asked them to do that. Well, now that they're being vocal, now people are asking them to shut up. And I haven't really understood that part. But on this particular situation, these people are being more vocal about everything. So is it alarming that he's saying anything? No, not really. I agree with you with the medical marijuana. I mean, THC is a very powerful drug, especially if it's done the right way, right? And it does help you relax. But with that being said, medical treatments are far better nowadays than they ever have been in anything, or any year, let's put it that way. So what Jones has to understand, and what the NFL has to understand, is, look, it's about getting right. So let's get right, then let's clean ourselves, and then go play some football. That's what I say. Now, if it takes smoking marijuana, then fine, take smoking marijuana. If it takes taking painkiller drugs, I understand that. Because many people are going to say, well, if he does marijuana, that's called a gateway drug, and gateway drugs lead to other drugs, and blah, 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 blah. Now, that's hearsay. That's depending on what you want to do. Because I don't feel it is. So if it takes marijuana, then it takes marijuana. If it doesn't, and it needs some more, then he's got to get to the doctor. You got to go to the doctor. Got to do what's right for your body. Then play some football. Other than that, I mean, look, that's a weird topic to mention, because obviously Dominic is thumbs down on marijuana, and that's fine.
Let me say something about that real quick, Patrick. I'm not promoting marijuana usage per se.
No, we're not. We're talking about treatment to make you.
Yes. Marijuana being used, to treat injuries. And I think a lot of the players would rather do that than take the painkillers.
And they probably would, but, we don't know what they're thinking. We don't know what's going through their head. And sometimes pain makes you do some weird things. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, weird things. I've injured my body quite often throughout my life, and I look at the doctor and be like, you need to shoot me up with something, because that hurts and you need to do something now. Like now, take kidney stones. I mean, if anybody's had kidney stones, I know that's different, but you take kidney stones, it's got you dry heaving over in the morning one day. Yeah, you'd be like, put something in there. I don't give a crap what it is, but you better stop that, because it hurts. So pain makes you do some weird things. I will say that, but you got to do what's right for your body. Get your body right, and then if it takes doing some cleaning up after that, handle that after the pain's gone, and you're better, and you can move around, and you can jump and run.
You're right. And Patrick, before we move on, I can't believe you said this was a weird topic. Come on now. Ain't no topic for us weird.
Well, okay, true. But having to think about what they're putting themselves through, that makes it a little, it's a harder topic to talk about because we don't know what they're thinking.
No,
right?
Absolutely not. And a lot of times we don't.
99.9% of the time we don't. Now, some of the topics that we talk about is how is it our opinion on that topic? This one is not really an opinion basis. How do we decipher what's going on in his mind based on this tweet? It's a freaking tweet. You know what I mean? Got to give me more. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to you. That's to Byron Jones saying, look, we got to see. We need to know more. You can't just tweet on this and just leave it out there. And that's the problem with social media is you only get snippets of what they're thinking. It's not the full scope. So it makes it harder, not weird, harder to decipher.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, that is the thing with social media where it is a little bit piecing you. A lot of times the whole tweet or the whole Instagram post is not really shown. It's a lot of just like the juicy pieces, I guess, is what really comes out there. Yeah. And this part would be the juicy part. He's been playing for 8 years. He can't run or jump now like he could before. And he's talking about don't give them anything. If you're an NFL player, don't take any of the stuff that they give you, the painkillers, all that stuff. So pretty juicy, of course, like I said, but I agree with you. Yeah, that you don't know what else is going through his head. And I guess just thinking about his career, how it's gone. I mean, he didn't play at all last year. So one could gather he's frustrated, just really frustrated with how his career's going, and he just wanted to lash out, I guess.
Yeah. It's not the first time somebody's lashed out at the NFL, and it's not going to be the last. And let me tell you, NFL is a corrupt organization anyway. So it's not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last. I mean, you might as well go ahead and put a pin in it. We'll probably talk about that several times throughout the rest of the year on how corrupt that organization is and how poorly managed it is.
So, Patrick, we'll put a pin on that one, and we will move on to this one. Okay, so you know us in NIL. We love talking about NIL. Well, you have these twin sisters, Haley and Hanna Cavinder. So they transferred from Fresno State to Miami, and I guess one of the meetings was with this big baller booster that Miami has named John Ruiz. So they met, and he probably promised them a bunch of NIL deals, whatnot, and here they are playing for Miami. Well, this is the key with this one, Patrick. The NCAA decided to, quote unquote, come down on the school, but they didn't do anything to the twin sisters. They suspended the head coach, is her name Katie Meyer, suspended her for 3 games. Talking about a level 2 violation of the NCAA rules. Now, number one, on that, the NCAA rules are BS. Number one. Number two, number two.
When did the rules get put in place? That's the question.
Yeah. So number two. So they for the fact this is the first time the NCAA decided to rule on a specific NIL case. It's weird in a lot of ways. Number one, the punishment is 3 games. So they really weren't trying to bring the hammer down, because I don't think the NCAA still right now does not know what they would be really punishing them for. So they figured they would punish the people in charge, more or less. Well, if you want to call it a punishment, they figured they would punish the people in charge, and also funny that they would come after women's college basketball too. Now, this isn't me going after women's college basketball, but we know college football is the one that is pushing all this, and all the NIL deals and all the NIL transactions that is going on there. You want to come at women's college basketball at these twin sisters. Just all of this just reeks of garbageness to me. But it's the NCAA we're talking about, organization that's about to be obsolete.
Oh yeah, and they're just trying to make a footnote to be relevant. When did the rules? That's the thing. Like you said,
I'm with you there because I don't know. I don't know when they came up with it.
So many levels. One, why women's college basketball first? What? Why? Because it's the least amount of money that's being made. No, come on. We sit here and we would listen to all of these NIL deals. You're telling me that the coaches, name the best coaches give me 5 coaches.
Where
highly profiled coaches, back-to-back champions, Kirby Smart. You're telling me he's not sitting in somebody's living room right now, pitching them an NIL deal? Freaking great. And what's the NCAA going to do? Nothing. Why? Because there's so much money. Anytime the NCAA puts their nose in anything, the first thing I think of is greedy ass people.
Yeah, they want all the money to themselves, which is the root of the world these days. And they're not. The NCAA is not, because like I said, Patrick, they are so close to being obsolete at this time. You rarely hear about them at all anyway. What you hear about are the conferences making this move. The conferences are making this addition, that addition. You're hearing about the players because of NIL now, going here, going there, transfer portal, going here, going there. And the NCAA has completely lost control of it.
Because and then all of a sudden, here's a rule that they're going to abide by now. When was this rule put in place? Right before the Twins transferred to Miami? Please, come on. NCAA.
2 years. 2 years, dude. 2 years NIL has been around. And now
it's not only been around, but when did this rule get put in place?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know when the rule got put in place. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you on that. I don't know when this rule got put in place, but you knew at some point they were going to try to make a ruling, and this was where they tried to make their rule 2 years afterward. So I guess it took them 2 years to figure out that they were going to suspend somebody for 3 games. And it's not even the players themselves. It's the head coach.
And then they're going to come out here about, well, we really don't know what we're suspending them for, but we'll suspend them for, let's say, draw a number out of the hat. Hey, pick a number between 3 and 5. 4? No, that's too much. Pick a number between 2 and 4. 3. That's how many we'll suspend them for. Good guess. Come on. NCAA is so irrelevant at this point. I don't even know why. They're trying to make a footnote. They're just trying to make a footnote. That's all they're doing. They're making a footnote in their exit out because they are the most pointless organization left in the corrupt organizations. Look, NCAA, I got one word for you. Deuces. Get out. Stupid organization thinking they got control and they don't. Making rules up as they go.
Yeah, they I guess Miami has to serve a year probation, pay up. This is another part. This is according to Deadspin. They have to pay a fine of $5,000 plus 1% of their budget. What is that doing?
So $6,000 total.
What is that?
That's $3,000 per girl.
Yeah.
And let's go win a championship. Those stories are good. They're good, man.
Yeah, even the sisters, Haley and Hanna, were sitting
They're laughing right now.
Really? Really? All right. Wow. So Patrick, all right. So with that,
rent out the gym for a weekend. They'll get their $6,000.
You know we will always have something crazy to say about the NCAA corporation because it's one of our most corrupt organizations in all of sports or in life in general. But let's go on to.
Can't forget about the IRS. You know that's mine.
That's why I said corporation, Patrick. I didn't say D.
In life,
but
sports. I heard it.
So Patrick, let's get in baseball because spring training is in here, and you had brought up on your shorty from last week the rules.
Did I not call that?
Yeah, some of the rules that have been put in place. Well, we had a spring training game between your Atlanta Braves and the Boston Red Sox that ended on a pitch clock violation.
I know.
So, Patrick, how do you feel about these rules? I know you said it a little bit, but you didn't get too far into the rules. How do you feel about this pitch?
Because it's a shorty, but if you're going to
Yeah,
give
I know.
time, how much time do we have?
So how do you feel about the pitch clock?
All right. So I watched a couple of spring training games.
Mhm.
And look, I'm sitting here watching. The pitchers don't have a problem with it. They're ready to go. Every one of them that I've watched, they're ready to go. I say every one of them, maybe one or two are still struggling with it. It's mostly the batters that have a problem with it, right? But, man, let me tell you, if it was to make a big difference in time, like save an hour, okay, maybe. But the fact that the pitch clock, look, you get 15 seconds with nobody on base, you get an extra 5 with somebody on base. Come on. I mean, it's just a dumb rule. It's just a dumb rule. What did he have? The pitch clock doesn't matter until it affects your team.
Ask Dominic, who's your team, Dominic?
Who's your team, Dominic?
Who's your team?
I'm curious because mine's the Atlanta Braves, and I was already on this when it was between San Diego and who was the other one? Reds. I think it was San Diego and Reds. I was already
the Manny Machado thing.
Yeah,
that happened. Yep.
So I was already in disbelief that this clock pitch, this pitch clock was really a good thing. So I don't like it. Oh,
he said don't laugh. He said
don't
laugh.
Hey, look, you good, man. You got one of the best farm teams in the league.
And I give you credit. And I give you credit. I mean, the D-backs have been struggling, for a little bit. So for you to stick with them,
hey, good for you.
Yeah.
And one thing, man, I've been there. I know what the D-backs are doing. I know exactly what they're doing. They are raising a farm team right now, and they're selling the hell out of all of their players. They're making money hand over fist right now. So look, Braves did it for years, and then all of a sudden they were able to afford enough money, or they had enough money to afford the players they got and won a World Series. No, I know exactly where you're at. I'm not laughing at you. I'm actually, D-backs will probably be winning a World Series here in the next 10 years. So I'm not saying anything. Atlanta did it for 8 years, just selling and selling. All of a sudden, they put a team together and we won a World Series. Had a chance to win too. So now the D-backs are going to be fine. They got a killer farm team. So hey, I ain't laughing. They doing something right down there in Arizona. I ain't saying nothing. I like the farm. They're fun to watch too. They're really good. That pitching, their pitching in AAA is phenomenal.
Well, the whole thing with the pitch clock, and I know you had brought it up on the shorty, and we had touched on it when they were talking about bringing this into the major leagues, and they were kind of trying it with some of the minor league games that was going on. If there seems to be a craze going on in sports where the leagues want to shorten their games a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so the NL West is kind of loaded right now. Yes, they are.
True.
But the D-backs are building something. That I do agree with Patrick there that the D-backs are building something.
They got a plan. Yeah, they're screwed right now. But hey,
but
hey, been there.
but there's a craze going on with trying to shorten the games. I had seen something yesterday, Patrick, where I guess the NBA was floating around the target score rule. So in the All-Star game, they have floated around with the target score in the fourth quarter, and whoever hits that target score wins. So I guess they're talking about trying to do this for overtime, only for overtime. So you know how a lot of the overtimes are, it's 5 minutes, 5 extra minutes, and then they just keep going until a winner arises. But now they're talking about maybe potentially using this target score for overtime, which I guess would shorten the game a little bit. Here's the thing, Patrick, and I know you agree with me on this because we had talked about it before. Unless it is a significant difference, and in baseball's case, I'm talking half an hour. If you're not cutting any more than half an hour, there really isn't that much of a difference. It really isn't. I mean, your games as it stands, they go about 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe 3.5 to 4 hours if we're talking about the Yankees and the Red Sox. But with
I was gonna say 2 days if you're talking about the
yeah,
because man, I have never seen so much glove fixing and crotch grabbing in my life, bro. They fixing gloves 15 times and situating themselves 15 times between swings, not just at the beginning of the bat, between swings.
But yeah, I mean, I think it is just. Unless you're making that type of difference. If you're telling me you're shaving off 45 minutes, then I can understand where you're trying to go with it. But if it's no more than half an hour, what are you really doing these things for? Now, I can understand sometimes like you said, the crotch grabbing and the glove fixing, it can get a little bit excessive sometimes. But even with that, it's not like it's a huge difference. So if you're gonna put these rules in, if you're Major League Baseball, I'm gonna have to see more, and I guess we will start to figure this out when the season starts, just how much time is getting shaved off. If it's 25 minutes, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm talking like 25 minutes is like bare minimum threshold, dude. Because what's an extra? I mean, look, it's baseball. You can walk away from baseball for 2 innings and come back and pick up right where you left off. It's not that hard. I mean, baseball is not a tough sport. The tough part about baseball is the fact that on the field, that's the tough part, right? Understanding the sport, it's actually very simple. I mean, knowing where your cutoffs are, knowing who is the cutoff, where it's going, what situations you have depending on first, second, and third. Those are the hard parts, right? Shaving off 25 minutes. I mean, look, I don't even understand it at 25 minutes, but they're estimating 25 minutes. And then when I started looking at some of this, I mean, I'm only seeing a difference of about 10 minutes that this is really shaving off right now. I don't see what the big deal was. I mean, I was looking at it just yesterday. How long was the average spring training game last year? And the average was about 2 hours and 44 minutes or 43 minutes or something like that. Right now, the average game right now is 2 hours and 31 minutes. So we're talking about 12 minutes right now. That to me is not a big deal. I mean, a pitch clock does not justify 12 minutes. Now, like you said, 45, hey, let's talk. But 12, come on. What's an extra 10 minutes? What's an extra 10 minutes? I don't see it right now. So I'm not a huge fan of it. Even if it's shaving off 40 minutes, I'm still not a huge fan of it. I don't like being rushed at the plate. And if I'm a pitcher, I honestly wouldn't like to be rushed there either. Now, are the pitchers having a less hard time of it than the batters? Yeah, but I can tell you, I wouldn't be a fan of being rushed. I don't like being rushed at the plate, so I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. The shift I can deal with. The whole pitch clock thing. Told you when they implemented it. I was like, I don't understand either one of the rules, but if I pick one, hate the pitch clock.
The shift to me, or them taking away the shift, is dumb to me too.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean,
an advantage away.
Yeah, the offensive craze. I understand why they're trying to do it, but I mean, the shift is a strategy. That's what it is. It's a strategy. You're trying to take away the pull advantage or the pull ability of a hitter. And so if it's getting taken away, now we want to take it away.
Yeah, I mean, and the batter has to understand, it's like, look, if you're putting a shift on me and I'm a pull batter, well, then go opposite field.
Professional
hitters. Real professional hitters will go opposite field. Don't cry when you don't get your way and they take away the shift. No, go opposite field and force them to say, okay, well, hold on. We need to pay this man straight up because we don't know where he's going. He can pull it or he can go opposite field. Bryce Harper, as Charles said, go opposite field and you add 40 or 50 points to your batting average. He added 65. Just saying. So, but this goes on the whole thing. Did you hear about what they were talking about with the Philadelphia Eagles and taking away Jalen Hurts' ability to quarterback sneak just because he does it so well? What?
Yes.
Get out of here. Sports is just getting to this point where it's just absolutely absurd with the rules. Oh, we need to make it better. How are we going to make it better? Take away all their advantages. Wait. They're going to take bats away from people in baseball. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, the only way you're going to hit it is with your hand. Yeah. Put them out there with peewee bats. Hit a home run now with a drop 10 bat. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, Patrick, we're gonna monitor that as the season goes along. But before it really is. But we got a couple more topics to get to before we get on now. So let's get to your least favorite topic of it all, and it is about LeBron James. Now, here's the thing with LeBron. LeBron is hurt now. He hurt his foot against the Dallas Mavericks. He said he had heard a pop. He got back up. He finished the game.
I do have to say something before you can. Did you even see anything happen to his foot?
It just looked like he took a wrong step. It didn't seem like. I guess he thought he stepped on. I want to say it was maybe it was Dwight Powell. I want to say he thought he stepped on his foot, but he didn't step on his foot. It was one of those non-contact injuries. And
I didn't do anything. I just saw him limp, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Is somebody wanting to get out just because they're about to be in the play-in game? You're not.
Stop, Patrick. You say that about any other player. Give me a break, dude.
No, you know I'm going to say it about LeBron.
So do you think he's hamming it up?
No, I would have said it if he would have exited the game, but he came back in, and I saw it actually looked like he was legitimate.
You think? No, Patrick, you're saying he's hamming it up. He's hamming it up.
I looked at that and I saw it from every angle, and I was like, "What's wrong with you? You ain't done nothing." I was like, you just mad because you missed a layup. That's what it was. Then he walked back out there, and you could tell. I will say this: you could legitimately tell it was tender. I don't know what happened. I don't know how he done it. But at first, when I saw it, I was like, "Come on, come on, LBJ, come on."
You saw the play-in game in this future. He's hamming it up. That's so bad.
He's like, I ain't going out there in no playing game. Yeah. I'm either 6 or I'm out. I'm like, you know what? Deuces, because NBA is better without you.
So here's the thing. The Lakers, I know you acknowledged this with the Lakers. You said, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I told Dominic we'll get on that one in just a sec. LaMelo Ball. It's crazy about injuries. Remember the guy that was running down the court just a couple of years ago, and he stepped on the court, like his ankle was twisted, and he broke his leg. Remember that? Nobody even touched him. I was like, basketball is a weird sport, man. You have the worst injuries on your own than you do if you hit somebody. It's crazy.
So I guess the thing with LeBron, he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. See if he can come back. Now, the thing is with the Lakers, and you acknowledge this too. So this isn't just me. You acknowledge with the trades they made, they have gotten better, and it gives them a puncher's chance to do something. Maybe get into the play-in, make a run to get into one of those top 6 playoffs. I mean, they beat the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday, and Dallas is 6 right now, or they might be. I don't know where they're at. They might be still 6. Please check that.
I'll pull them up.
And so with LeBron going now, so this is the thing with it. The coverage and some of the low-hanging fruit that these people have, man. Like, all right, LeBron gets hurt. They're 6. Okay. So there's this low-hanging fruit. LeBron is hurt. Obviously, this is going to affect the Lakers. So you have these people on these radio stations, CBS Sports Radio, ESPN, Hot Take Network, whatever. And they're over here like, oh, well, it's over for the Lakers. Oh, you think? Like, I mean,
honestly, I give them a better chance now.
Do you, Patrick? Do you really?
Yeah, no, not really. Anytime I can make a jab at LeBron, you know I'm going to do it.
Right. I know. But I mean, give me a break, though. I mean, that's just that low hanging fruit. That's lazy to me.
You know, that's lazy reporting, dude.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. Look, if you really didn't think the Lakers could do that much, which I mean, hey, we didn't, but we acknowledge after the trades, assuming Anthony Davis out of everybody stays healthy, the Lakers have a puncher's chance. No one's really running away with stuff in the Western Conference. I mean, Denver's got a good record, but I don't think anyone's fearing Denver like that. I mean, you'll acknowledge Denver's a good team, but they can get got.
Especially in a 7-game series.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think, I just think that, listen, like you and I, we didn't really have the Lakers doing much in terms of going far in the playoffs. But to come on to your radio show or your TV show or a newspaper or a magazine and say, oh, the Lakers are done now. They're totally finished. Well, they just lost one of their best players, of course. I mean, that's not hard. That's not anything that takes a whole bunch of thinking or rocket science. Very, very lazy to me. Just lazy. And another
honestly,
thing.
And I do gotta say this before you go. And honestly, look, just because LeBron's out, with some of the trades that they made, the Lakers are not out themselves. I mean, look, he's out for 2 weeks. What, we got 20 games left? So that means he's probably going to miss, what, 6 games at most? 7?
Yeah,
okay.
assuming he does come back. Yeah.
Assuming he does come back. All right. So that gives him, we'll say 10. We'll say 10 games. It gives him enough time to rehabilitate his ankle, get back out there, get into playoff form, so to speak. All right. The good thing about it is, it's a minor injury. He's only going to be out for 2 weeks. And that gives LeBron James time to rest. Going into the final stint, I mean, look, put it into perspective. I don't think they're going to make it into the top 6. If they do anything, they'll make it into the playing wild card game. Only a half a game out. Come on. 20 games and they're half a game out. And you're talking about Minnesota, New Orleans, Portland, and the Lakers. Even without LeBron James, that's doable. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. That's doable for that Lakers team. Run the offense through Anthony Davis. Hopefully he stays healthy. Lakers will be fine. They'll get in a playoff. But to say that they're completely out just because they lost LeBron James, it makes it very difficult, but not out.
And even if you were on the point of the Lakers are kind of a farce. They're a sham. They're not doing anything. They're a laughing stock, which is basically what we were saying, you and I. Even if you were on that, like even if you were on that side of it, them losing LeBron, you already thought they were going to be done anyway. So now that LeBron is out, you want to sit here and say, "Oh, I told you so." Well, if he's out, it doesn't matter. So,
who said this? I got to know.
It was on CBS Sports Radio. So a guy named
CBS. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I heard it. It was on CBS Sports Radio. Yeah, ESPN. I'm sure you got.
Oh, they've been saying that all day. I turned it on just for about 30 minutes today. Oh my God, the Lakers. This is what Lakers are in shambles. I was like, what? LeBron went out and he's out for 2 weeks. They're doomed. I was like, they're doomed. They got some really good trades. I don't think they're doomed.
And they're close to everybody in the Western Conference. It's not like they're 8-9 games behind. Like I said, they're what, 2? How many games are they behind the Mavericks, for an example?
2.
2 games behind the Mavericks, and they just beat them.
20 games left.
Yeah. So let's chill, y'all. And these are coming from people who aren't big fans of the Lakers. So
and even less of fans of LeBron James.
Yeah. So let's chill. Let's chill, y'all.
Love the Braves. I mean, let it play out.
So real quick, Patrick, because we had a couple more or one more topic, but yes, LaMelo Ball, he did go out and he has an ankle fracture, playing for the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, LaMelo's had a pretty difficult season this year. He's been in and out of the lineup, and he's just been back for a little bit, and he's been playing like he was last season, and now got an ankle. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep him out for the rest of the season. I mean, because the Hornets aren't doing anything, unfortunately.
4.5 games out, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the Hornets are pushing lottery status. I mean, like top 3 lottery status. So, but I mean, it sucks. I mean, for fans of LaMelo Ball, I mean, LaMelo Ball is a very good player. He's turned out to be better than I thought he would be.
Oh yeah, made his brother look like crap.
His brother can't get on the court either. His brother has knee problems. He might end up retiring. Lonzo Ball, he might end up retiring. Seriously, because he can't get on the court. He's had these knee issues, and he's been supposed to come back for at least the last year and a half. And the Bulls just said we're shutting him down for the season. And I guess Lonzo, he said it hurts to walk up and down the stairs. So I mean, if it's hurting to walk up and down the stairs, dude, I mean, surely he can't be playing basketball. That just sounds. It could be degenerate.
I think he's done. I mean, when I heard that when he couldn't walk up and down steps, I was like, well, if you can't walk up and down steps, much less jump, and it's basketball, and you're not going to be running down. You're not going to be crutching down the court and shooting flat-footed. Not over Giannis.
Right. Yeah.
No. Honestly, I think Lonzo's done. LaMelo should be done for the rest of the year. Bring him back next year when you got a fighter's chance. Get you somebody to support him, because the Hornets do need somebody to support him. Turned out to be a lot better player, like you said. He ended up being a lot better player than I thought he was going to be. Because I was judging him from his brother, and I was like, his brother's not like crazy good, but no, LaMelo's legit, man. I like him. I like watching him play, and he doesn't go out there and run his mouth. He just plays. I like that.
Well, Patrick, all right, you gotta jump on this last topic before we get on out. This one's about Bryce Young. So, Bryce Young, we have the scouting combine taking place now in Indianapolis. So now this is getting into draft preparations and where these players are supposed to go in the draft. Bryce Young, between him and Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud, supposed to be one or maybe the top pick in the draft, depending on what the Chicago Bears do with that pick. With Bryce Young, though, this is the thing that's really getting me with these people, and it happens every year when it comes to these draft forecasts. When you hear people like Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and some of these other people that are in there. Did people not notice Bryce Young was a little bit short when he was playing in Alabama? Why is this now? So why is this now a problem? Why now are people talking about, oh man, Bryce Young is small. He's only 185 pounds. He only goes 5'10". Oh my gosh, I don't know if he could last in the NFL. He's short. But he was short the whole time. And now he's forecast to be the number one pick. Why is this a problem now? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. But, I mean, the way I saw it is they averaged him at 5'10", but I've heard him be as tall as 6'1", and I'm like, well, where is he? He's either 5'10", 5'11", or 6 or 6'1". He's one of those four, so we know he's somewhere in there, right? I keep hearing that it's not about his height, it's about his weight. I'm like, well, what does his weight got to do with anything? Because what I saw at Alabama, I didn't think weight really mattered. I mean, I don't know about you. Did you see this Bryce Young kid play and win? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking because that's what I saw. He won. He won games. He didn't go out there and lose because, oh well, dang, I'm 5'10" today, so I guess I just go out there and throw a bunch of picks because I'm 5'10". No, what he did was he went out there and threw touchdowns. Stop judging these kids just because they're 5'10", 5'11", and 185 pounds. Why don't you take them out to the NFL Combine? Let's shut up until we let them go through that combine, and then let's rank them as people that play the game of football. Stop judging how tall they are or if their hand is big enough to fit around the football. I mean, look, Tom Brady's hand wasn't that big. I'm sorry, 7 Super Bowls later, that wasn't an argument. Just saying. He was tall, but he was not big. And he showed up to the combine in khaki shorts. I'm just saying. So let's stop judging these players based on their height and their weight. Let's judge them based on their ability with that height and weight, and let's make a decision then. Because when you judge on ability, you get better players than if you judge on height and hand size and weight.
All right, so Patrick, before we go, so I see Dominic. He said he thinks Bryce is going number 2. He could. I think it just depends on what the Chicago Bears do with that pick, because we know they have Justin Fields. Do they trade out of that pick, or do they keep it and get a defensive lineman or a defensive player? It just depends on what the Bears do. I think whoever is going to take the quarterback, I think Bryce Young will be that number 1 pick, or at least I would take Bryce Young with the number 1 pick. And then Arch Manning, hey, you going to my school, my favorite team there, Dominic. So we have something in common, even though you can't stand him. I get it.
and I called him going to Texas. Just so everybody knows.
You're like the honorary Texas fan all of a sudden. But
hey. Yes, I like Texas. Well, yeah, I gotta like them.
I hear you. I love the support. Well, y'all, that will do it for this edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. That is what we are breathing on for this episode. Y'all make sure y'all go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Dominic, we will talk about the Nico kid that's going to Tennessee next show. Got you, promise. So so everybody take it easy and have a good rest of the week. Patrick, you doing a shorty this week? All right. So
Consistency, baby.
All right. So Patrick will do a shorty later on this week. Until then, everybody take care. Have a great rest.
Maybe about that Nico kid.
Yeah, it could be.
No, no. We'll find out on Friday.
Y'all take it easy. See y'all later.